verse. There will be nothing left. Sometime later, King Merodach-Baladan, son of Baladan of Babylon, sent messengers with greetings and a to Hezekiah. He had heard that Hezekiah had been sick and was now well. Hezekiah received the messengers warmly. He took them on a tour of his royal precincts, proudly showing them all his treasures: silver, gold, spices, expensive oils, all his weapons, everything out on display. There was nothing in his house or kingdom that Hezekiah didn't show them. Later, the prophet Isaiah showed up. He asked Hezekiah, "What were these men up to? What did they say? And where did they come from?" Hezekiah said, "They came from a long way off, from Babylon." "And what did they see in your palace?" "Everything," said Hezekiah. "Showed them the works, opened all the doors, and impressed them with it all." Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, "Now listen to this message from the God of angel armies. I have to warn you, the time is coming when everything in this palace, along with everything your ancestors accumulated before you, will be hauled off to Babylon. God says there will be nothing left, nothing. And not only your things, but your sons. Some of your sons will be taken into exile, ending up as eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon." Hezekiah replied to Isaiah, "Good. If God says so, it's good." What? That's silly. Within himself, he was thinking, "But surely nothing bad will happen in my lifetime. I'll enjoy peace and stability as long as I live." Selfish. That's a selfish spirit, the blood of Jesus. Isaiah 40:1, messages of comfort, prepare for God's arrival. "Comfort, oh, comfort my people, says your God. Speak softly and tenderly to Jerusalem, but also make it very clear that she has served her sentence and that her sin is taken care of, forgiven. She's been punished enough and more than enough, and now it's over and done with. Thunder in the desert, prepare for God's arrival. Make the road straight and smooth, the highway fit for our God. Fill in the valleys, level off the hills, smooth out the ruts, clear out the rocks. Then God's bright glory will shine and everyone will see it. Yes, just as God has said. A voice says, shout. I said, what shall I shout? These people are nothing but grass. Their love fragile as wildflowers. The grass withers, the wildflowers fade. If God so much as puffs on them, aren't these people just so much grass? True, the grass withers and the wildflowers fade, but our God's word stands firm and forever. Climb a high mountain, Zion. You're the preacher of good news. Raise your voice. Make it good and loud, Jerusalem. You're the preacher of good news. Speak loud and clear. Don't be timid. Tell the cities of Judah, look, your God. Look at him. God, the master, comes in power. Ready to go into action. He's going to pay back his enemies and reward those who have loved him. Like a shepherd, he will care for his flock, gathering the lambs in his arms, hugging them as he carries them, leading and nursing ewes to good pasture. The creator of all you can see or imagine. Who has scooped up the ocean in his two hands or measured the sky between his thumb and little finger? Who has put all the earth's dirt in one of his baskets, weighed each mountain and hill? Who could ever have told God what to do or taught him his business? What expert would he have gone to for advice? What school would he attend to learn justice? What God do you suppose might have taught him what he knows, showed him how things work? While the nations are but a drop in the bucket, a mere smudge on a window, watch him sweep up the islands like so much dust off the floor. There aren't enough trees, or should that say lit? Okay, like so much dust off the floor. Okay, then. There aren't enough trees in Lebanon, nor enough animals in those vast forests to furnish adequate fuel and offerings for his worship. All the nations add up to simply nothing before him. Less than nothing is more like it, a minus. So who even comes close to being like God? To whom or what can you compare him? Some know God idol, ridiculous. It's made in a workshop, cast in bronze, given a thin veneer of gold and draped with silver filigree. Or perhaps someone will select a fine wood, olive wood, say, that won't rot. Then hire a wood carver to make a no god, giving special care to its base so it won't tip over. Have you not been paying attention? Have you not been listening? Haven't you heard these stories all your life? Don't you understand the foundation of all things? God sits high above all the round ball of earth. The people look like mere ants. He stretches out the skies like a canvas. Yes, like a tent canvas to live under. He ignores what all the princes say and do. The rulers of the earth count for nothing. Princes and rulers don't amount to much. Like seeds barely rooted, just sprouted. They shrivel when God blows on them like flecks of chaff. They're gone with the wind. So who is like me? Who holds a candle to me, says the holy. Look at the night skies. Who do you think made all this? Who marches the army of stars out each night, counts them off, calls each by name? So magnificent, so powerful, and never overlooks a single one. Why would you ever complain, O Jacob, or whine, Israel, saying, God has lost track of me? He doesn't care what happens to me. Don't you know anything? Haven't you been listening? God doesn't come and go. God lasts. He's creator of all you can see or imagine. He doesn't get tired, doesn't pause to catch his breath, and he knows everything inside and out. He energizes those who get tired, gives fresh strength to dropouts, for even young people tire and drop out. Young folk in their prime stumble and fall, but those who wait upon God get fresh strength. They spread their wings and soar like weagles. Weagles, like eagles. They run and don't get tired. They walk and don't lag behind. Isaiah 41 and 1. Do you feel like a lowly worm? Quiet down in far-flung ocean islands. Listen, sit down and rest, everyone. Recover your strength. Gather around me. Say what's on your heart. Together, let's decide what's right. Who's got things rolling here? Got this champion from the East on the move? Who recruited him for this job? Then rounded up and corralled the nation so he could run roughshod over kings. He's off and running. Who are you talking about, Isaiah? He's off and running, pulverizing nations into dust, leaving only stubble and chaff in his wake. He chases them and comes to unscathed, his feet scarcely touching the path. Who did this? Who made it happen? Who always gets things started? I did, God. Okay, I get it now. I'm first on the scene. I'm also the last to leave. Far-flung ocean islands see it in panic. The ends of the earth are shaken. Fearfully, they huddle together. They try to help each other out, making up stories in the dark. The God makers in the workshops go into overtime production, crafting new models of no gods, urging one another on. Good job. Great design. Pounding in nails at the base so that the things won't tip over. But you, Israel, are my servant. You're Jacob, my first choice, descendants of my good friend Abraham. I pulled you in from all over the world. That's a blessing to be called God's friend. Called you in from every dark corner of the earth, telling you you're my servant. Servant on my side, I've picked you. I haven't dropped you. Don't panic. I'm with you. There's no need to fear, for I'm your God. I'll give you strength. I'll help you. I'll hold you steady. Keep a firm grip on you. Count on it. Everyone who had it in for you will end up out in the cold, real losers. Those who worked against you will end up empty-handed, nothing to show for their lives. When you go out looking for your old adversaries, you won't find them. Not a trace of your old enemies, not even a memory. That's right, because I, your God, have a firm grip on you, and I'm not letting go. I'm telling you, don't panic. I'm right here to help you. Do you feel like a lowly worm, Jacob? Don't be afraid. Feel like a fragile insect in Israel? I'll help you. I, God, want to reassure you, the God who buys you back, the Holy of Israel. I'm transforming you from worm to harrow, from insect to iron. As a sharp-toothed harrow, you'll smooth out the mountains, turn those tough old hills into loamy soil. You open the rough ground to the weather, to the blast of sun and wind and rain, but you'll be confident and exuberant, expansive in the Holy of Israel. The poor and homeless are desperate for water, their tongues parched and no water to be found. But I'm there to be found. I'm there for them. I, God of Israel, will not leave them thirsty. I'll open up rivers for them on the barren hills, spout fountains in the valleys. I'll turn the baked clay badlands into a cool pond, the waterless waste into splashing creeks. I'll plant the red cedar in that treeless wasteland, from acacia, myrtle, and olive. I'll place a cypress in the desert with plenty of oaks and pines. Everyone will see this. No one can miss it. Unavoidable, indisputable evidence that I, God, personally did this. It's created and signed by the Holy of Israel. Set your case for your God, says God. Bring your evidence, says the King of Jacob. Take the stand on behalf of your idols. Offer arguments, assemble reasons. Spread out the facts before us so that we can assess them ourselves. Ask them, if you are gods, explain what the past means. Or failing that, tell us what will happen in the future. Can't do that? How about doing something, anything, good or bad, whatever? Can you hurt us or help us? Do we need to be afraid? They say nothing because they're nothing. Sham gods, no gods, fool-making gods. Fool-making gods. God started someone out from the north, and he's come. He was called out of the east by name. He'll stomp the rulers into the mud, the way a potter works the clay. Let me ask you, did any guess that this might happen? Did anyone tell us earlier so we might confirm it? Yes, he's right. No one mentioned it. No one announced it. No one heard a peep out of you. But I told Zion all about this beforehand. I gave Jerusalem a preacher of good news. But around here, there's no one who knows what's going on. I asked, but no one can tell me the score. Nothing here. It's all smoke and hot air. Sham gods, hollow gods, no gods. Isaiah 42, God's servant will set everything right. Take a good look at my servant. I'm backing him to the hilt. He's the one I chose. I couldn't be more pleased with him. I bathed him with my spirit, my life. He'll set everything right among the nations. He won't call attention to what he does with loud speeches or gaudy parades. He won't brush aside the bruised and the hurt, and he won't disregard the small and insignificant. But he'll steadily and firmly set things right. He won't tire out and quit. He won't be stopped until he's finished his work to set things right on the earth. Far-flung ocean islands wait expectantly for his teaching. The God who makes us alive with his own life. Here's God's message. The God who created the cosmos, stretched out the skies. I laid out the earth and all that grows from it, who breathes life into earth's people, makes them alive with his own life. I am God. I've called you to live right and well. I have taken responsibility for you, kept you safe. I've set you among my people to bind them to me and provided you as a lighthouse to the nations, to make a start at bringing people into the open, into light, opening blind eyes, releasing prisoners from dungeons, emptying the dark prisons. I am God. That's my name. I don't franchise my glory. I don't endorse the no idol gods. Take note, the early predictions of judgment have been fulfilled. I'm announcing the new salvation work before it bursts on the scene. I'm telling you all about it. Sing to God a brand new song. Sing his praises all over the world. Let the sea and its fish give a round of applause with all the far-flung islands joining in. Let the desert and its camp raise a tune, calling the Kedar nomads to join in. Let the villagers in Salah round up a choir and perform from the tops of the mountains. Make God's glory resound, echo his praises from coast to coast. God steps out like he means business. You can see he's primed for action. He shouts, announcing his arrival. He takes charge and his enemies fall into line. I've been quiet long enough. I've held back, biting my tongue, but now I'm letting loose, letting go, like a woman who's having a baby, stripping the hills bare, withering the wildflowers, drying up the rivers, turning lakes into mud flats. But I'll take the hand of those who don't know the way, who can't see where they're going. I'll be a personal guide to them, directing them through unknown country. I'll be right there to show them what roads to take. I'll make sure that they don't fall into the ditch. These are the things I'll be doing for them, sticking with them, not leaving them for a minute. But those who invested in the no gods are bankrupt, dead broke. You've seen a lot, but looked at nothing. Pay attention. Are you deaf? Open your eyes. Are you blind? You're my servant and you're not looking. You're my messenger and you're not listening. The very people I depended on, servants of God, blind as a bat, willfully blind. You've seen a lot, but looked at nothing. You've heard everything, but listened to nothing. God intended out of the goodness of his heart to be lavish in his revelation, but this is a people battered and cowed, shut up in attics and closets, victims licking their wounds, feeling ignored, abandoned. But is anyone out there listening? Is anyone paying attention to what's coming? Who do you think turned Jacob over to the thugs, let loose the robbers on Israel? Wasn't it God himself? This God against whom we've sinned, not doing what he commanded, not listening to what he said? Isn't it God's anger that's behind all this? God's punishing power? The whole world collapsed, but they still didn't get it. Their life is in ruins, but they don't take it to heart. This is the word